completely 180'd my health in the span of 3 years, and I can help you do the same in a fraction of the time. Because in this video, I'm going to be explaining to you what the seasoning method is and how you can use that to fast track your health gains over the long term and get your results a lot more quicker. I'm gonna start by just giving you a bit of context about my story in terms of health so that you actually trust me and believe that what I'm about to tell you afterwards, so that you actually take the advice. And then I'm gonna explain to you why this advice is not actually well known by people for some reason, even though it actually makes a lot of sense, and it's not very often talked about in the health community online on social media. So it's pretty rare advice, which honestly it shouldn't be rare advice. It's very good advice, so that's why I'm making this video today. And if you stick around to the end, you will improve your health and you'll know exactly what you need to do, what changes you need to make. They're very small tweaks as well, in order to actually start seeing health improvements and finally feel confident in your body, and ultimately that'll get you to the ultimate goal of living a more fulfilled life, right? So let's begin. Back in 2022, I was bloated, skinny fat. I had much worse acne than this, and I hated the way I looked. I hated my body, I hated my hair, I hated my smile, the way my teeth looked, my voice. Of course, I didn't like my skin, my face at all. Even now, I do have acne and stuff, but it's not nearly as bad as it used to be because I really dialed in my health and I put a lot of work towards it. My sleep, I improved it. I really improved my diet. I'm the most proud of changing my diet, and I think I have the best diet out of everyone I know. I also improved my actual exercise. I started training a lot, trained really hard, got pretty decent amount of muscle mass compared to how I used to be, and I also lost a lot of body fat, and that made me feel so much better about myself. And I also built strength, I built endurance, I built stamina too. I did running, and I do need to work on my mobility, but that's something I'm also using this seasoning method to help incorporate into my day, and it's getting better every single day. So the thing is, you've always been told this basic health advice of just, lift weights, build muscle mass, go to the gym, eat clean foods, don't eat processed foods, guys, haha. And also sleep 8 hours a day, guys. Make sure you're getting your sleep. Optimize your circadian rhythm, all the anti-human stuff. Get sunlight, all these things, right? You hear these, and it's good. Of course, it's good advice, right? But the thing is, the reason you're not taking this advice is because it's so dry. Because it genuinely feels like eating a piece of cardboard. Like, do you get what I'm saying? If you've ever tried to live one day in the life of just completely trying to max out your health, oops, my light ran out, but anyway, you've gone from this sort of dopaminergic place of having such a nice diet with lots of nice fats, carbs, sugar, tastes really good, lots of different textures that you can enjoy, and then now you've basically gone to eating cardboard, and there's no, you literally can't taste anything, and it just feels like you're eating ingredients, like you're just eating a singular carrot, and then you're having, I don't know, bread with it or something. And it's like, if you've ever tried cooking for yourself and you're not very experienced with it, you'll know what I'm talking about. It just feels like you've got a bunch of ingredients together on a plate and they don't actually form anything coherent that constitutes a proper meal. And the same applies for other health things. With sleep, it feels like you have to be the person that's just missing out on everything and you're just lying there in bed. You can't even fall asleep, but you've got to stick to your bedtime routine. So, yeah, I guess that's just, I guess I've just got to hate lying down now. But no, that's not the case, right? And so you hear this advice, which is to do all these things, but the people giving you the advice aren't actually telling you what it took for them to get there, right? Because they've spent so long in such a good, healthy place, in terms of their physical health, that they don't even know, they don't even remember what it took for them to get there. They just live this new normal, but you're here, they're over there. There's a huge gap, and they're just saying, oh yeah, just jump across the gap. But you can't jump far yet. But they can. So that's the sort of analogy that I want to say. Or for example, like, if we talk about basketball, right? And you have Shaq, and he's just standing next to the hoop. Let's say he's set like 8 feet tall. He's just standing next to the hoop and like, he just grabs the basketball. And he just gets past the basketball and he just puts it in the hoop. What most people are telling you to do is basically grow 8 feet tall and then just do what he does. But that's not how it's going to be able to work for you. Because you're 6 feet tall, you're 5 feet tall. Just in this analogy. And so instead, you have to learn a different technique. You have to learn to shoot 3-pointers. And that's the way that you can score points. You can't just grow 8 feet tall and then start, just putting it in the hoop. And so taking this analogy back to health, you need something else that's going to help you cross this gap to where these insanely disciplined, 100% locked in health people are. And that's where what I call the seasoning method comes in. And for food, it's pretty obvious what it is. Like, quite literally, put nice seasoning in your food. No, it's not that unhealthy if you pick the right kinds of seasoning, right? Like, a couple spices, a couple herbs will make a meal go from tasting like cardboard to actually tasting nice, having flavor, and therefore being palatable on a sustainable, regular basis. Right? Cooking things a little bit differently will add a bit more flavor. That's gonna make it more palatable, more easy for you to actually have that food and to follow that diet. So how do you add seasoning to sleep? That makes no sense, right? Well, to sleep, basically the issue is when you lie down and you don't want to fall asleep because you're not tired enough or you feel too hot or whatever. So the first thing you need to do is make sure your room is cold enough, right? More often than not, the issue is that your room is too hot. So what you can do is, like, I have a fan over there. You can like get a little table fan that don't cost much and like just set that towards like where your body is when you're sleeping, or like just get thinner bed sheets, right? Those are some things that you can do to make your room a bit colder. That's the first thing. But then the next thing is maybe your mind's racing. You can't fall asleep because of that. And for that, I would say, get yourself a journal and sit down on bed with a very dim lamp on, like this lamp here. I don't know if you can see it. And just open your journal and sit down on your bed and journal for 5 minutes or 2 minutes or however long you want to do it for. That's going to calm your mind, and you get all your worries out onto the page and gone from your mind. You don't have to think about them. You can always wake up the next day and review them. And another way to add seasoning is, if your body, let's say you have tension in your body, is you stretch in your bed before you sleep, right? So you have all these little problems, but the way you make sleeping enjoyable is by removing all these tensions and problems so that you can just relax, and then sleep becomes a very relaxing thing that you actually really look forward to. It might be one of the best parts of my day. I get to just unwind and spend some time with myself. So that's sleep. Next thing, training. How do you add seasoning to training? Well, what makes training fun? It's when you train with other people, number one, right? You're speaking to people in the gym, you know people in the gym, that's why social skills are important. Or you're trying out new sports with your friends, you're keeping active, you're doing cardio in that way, and that makes your cardio so much more fun than just being on a treadmill and running for 20 minutes, staring into the number on the thing that shows your distance. Like, there are so much more fun ways to do things, and you're gonna stick to them so much more. You're gonna be a lot more inclined to actually keep on these health habits and actually improve your health. So that's that. And then the next what was I going to talk about? I forgot, but anyway, so that's what you want to look for. You want to add seasoning to all these health habits that people tell you, all this generic advice. If you add seasoning onto it, suddenly it tastes a lot better. Suddenly it's a lot more easier to digest. It's a lot easier to do. And none of these seasonings are unhealthy, right? Having your friends with you when you're doing fitness is not an unhealthy thing. Adding too much seasoning can be, right? Like, if you talk too much to your friends, then it will be detrimental to your workout. If you add too much salt to the food and you eat salt all the time, then it's going to affect your health. So make sure you treat it like seasoning. Don't treat it like the main course. Yeah. And another side note with all these little habits like the sunlight and stuff, find reasons to enjoy them. Find reasons, like, it's almost like you have a meal. Try to find the good bits of the meal, there might be a pizza and you hate most of the toppings on the pizza, but then you like the mushrooms. So try and find these little nuggets of good stuff within them. So if you go out to sunlight, right, it might be cold to get sunlight in the morning. It might be cold. It might, might not even look that pretty. Like right now, it's very cloudy out here in England, and you just want to find the good things. For me, that's the sound of the birds chirping. So that's why I still am able to go out and get sunlight in the morning. And so for those more little habits, that's the way you find the seasoning almost. So I hope this sort of seasoning method analogy helped you, and make sure you go sleep early, sleep on time, stick to your circadian rhythm schedule, eat good foods, because you can actually make healthier food taste good as well if you add seasoning, if you add little things to make the texture nicer, stuff like that. So there are always little healthy ways that you can incorporate things to make life that much more tasteful and that much more fulfilling. And so keep following the 4 pillars: self-mastery, health, social connection, and spirit. Keep following those 4 pillars and you will have a fulfilled life very soon that will be so much better than you've ever imagined. I can't wait for you to join me there. It's honestly amazing. So I will see you in the next video. Peace.